Hey, my name is Jack. You may know me as the DM. I'd hope you know me as the DM and also the guy who plays Kieran, because Kieran's awesome. And I'm here to summarize what happened in Edenkites Call Session 0, because guess what? We forgot to save the VODs again. We also forgot to save the VODs for, I think it was Moonscorch Session 1 and the Vents Session 1. I don't know if I'm going to do a recap for those. Probably not. But this is what happened. So, the session started off with panning over across Planson and Lyric's journey towards Pagos, which is the village that they went to. The session's name was Pagos. Planson and Lyric had been traveling for a while together. They just kind of met somewhere on the road. And as they finally make it to Pagos, they decide to split up a bit, as Lyric was trying to look for a library to get some more information on his book, the Codex of Sorrel Talanoff. Lyric himself is a tide turner, though no one knows this, as it's very, very frowned upon and such. So he is just looking for information. Meanwhile, as the alarms go off, as the day starts, a young Kenorian woman rushes out of her house, and this girl is Caitlin. Caitlin is a member of the Ignition Union, and she is scheduled for a meeting with the village chief. His name is Cinnabar. However, she's late and has to rush. She skates through the village and makes it to Starbucks, where she gets some stuff, gets her shit, whatever. There's Starbucks. Was it 7-Eleven? I think it was 7-Eleven. No. She goes to 7-Eleven and gets her shit. She gets some coffee. And then she rushes over, roller skating over to Cinnabar, where her fellow union members are arguing with him and trying to get him to agree. Now, the disagreement they're having is that the Ignition Union wants to mine some valuable ores near the village, however Cinnabar doesn't want them anywhere near. Caitlin tries to strike a deal with him, but it seems to be fruitless, until he mentions someone in a prison cell, kind of locked up under the village. Essentially, this person had just been using their prison cell as a resting place, and they want him out. So, he agrees to let the Ignition Union drill around and get some more if Caitlin can get this guy out of the village. Caitlin agrees and goes down to the prison cell, only to be met with Mune. Mune is a samurai from the Eastern Luminate, and also a childhood friend of Caitlin. They reminisce a little bit, and Caitlin, cutting over to the village's graveyard, we are met with Isolde and Veska. They don't know each other, but Isolde watches the graves kind of silently. Same with Veska, though Veska approaches Isolde and questions her reasoning, though not much comes of the conversation. Waltzing up to the graveyard, though, comes Kieran, which is a village boy that Isolde knows somewhat well. He kind of goofs off a bit, which is a little disrespectful to the graves, to be honest, but then leaves with a witty remark. Moving back to Lyric, he does find a library and presents the Codex of Sorrel Talanoff, though is quickly told to leave. Considering the, stigma around tide turning and such, it's unlikely that he would find information here to begin with. Turning out of the library, he is... Right. He meets back up with Planson, who has found a place to stay, and they head to the inn. Mune and Caitlin finish drinking, though they stay in the prison cell for a bit, just talking, because, they haven't met each other in quite a while. Yet, Planson and Lyric, on their way to the inn, sense something. A storm. The presence of a storm. Quickly heading to the inn to seek shelter, it begins, and it's far more powerful than any other storm that they have felt in a while. You can hear trees shaking and houses, almost collapsing outside. Caitlin and Mune also hearing it from outside as well. Isolde and Veska quickly heading somewhere to get some shelter as well. Caitlin and Mune, alongside Planson and Lyric, decide to head out into the storm, using their own magic to shield themselves from the environmental hazards. Mune and Caitlin wandering towards the source, to the eye of the storm. They spot a silhouette, a strange silhouette. As the storm dissipates almost in an instant, the silhouette gone. The entire village is in disarray. Basically, almost everything is fucked up. And Cinnabar, rushing out of his house, seems incredibly pissed as he calls for a big meeting. Cinnabar explains that these storms have been happening for a while, and this one was particularly bad, that something has caused it, ever since the horrible symphony was heard from the furthest reaches of the Lumen. He then says that he wants to gather a group of people to go and fix it, which, you know, seems like a bit of a task, but sure, go on. He wants to take volunteers. And these party members volunteer. Lyric and Caitlin, also being childhood friends, meeting each other for the first time in forever, are very excited to meet each other. As the volunteers step up, we are gathered with our party of Caitlin, Lyric, Planson, Isolde, Vesca, and Munich. Cinnabar tells them to reconvene at night, or in dawn, or later in the day, to talk with him privately. And as they do so, he hands them a bunch of supplies, a map, and a caravan, free of charge. The caravan will be their main form of transportation, and he shows them the map of the area. He explains a few things, mostly that the biggest place in this corner of Lumen is Lyono, the City of Flames. Lyono, the City of Flames, is a massive city known for its giant fires, and its defensive ward, basically repelling all snow around it. The party decides that this is their main destination. It's where they should go. And before they can leave, Cinnabar asks them one more thing. If they could possibly if they could possibly bring Kieran with them. Kieran himself is a bit of a troublemaker, a bit of a goofball, but Cinnabar thinks that really all he's seeking is a bit of adventure, and that being holed up in the village isn't really all that healthy for him. There's a bit of discourse among the party, and they're not really in agreement with each other, but they eventually allow Kieran to come with, and as they get on the caravan and set off, their adventure begins. And that is Session 0 of Edenkites Call. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to look at more pictures of Caitlin for unspecific reasons.